Okay, nice. You sniffed just as we start. Hey there, welcome back to Coding at Home with the Code Hub. Hi, I'm Matt with the Code Hub, and this is one of my top crack developers downstairs. We have her with us not just to make the stream a little bit more attractive, but we've been working on augmented reality the last couple of days, right? A lot of fun. And we were using AR Maker, which is an amazing app for using at home, in the classroom, anywhere. And you built this little thing here. We bring that up on screen. This is her world, a little bit blocky. Maybe the recording wasn't great, but we recorded this in AR Maker. There's a little button if you hide the objects that you can add. There's a little button you can press, and then there's a video and a picture option. So we took a video of this where she has quite a few planets that you... How did you make this?
Well, I made, like, I got the
right
shape.
Not the dog, obviously.
Yeah, but I got the shape of them. Like, you can just go into new, and then you can draw them. So I decided to draw, and then I also took some photos. Like, one of me eating an orange, a few of Waffles, actually, and, yeah.
Waffles is the dog, not the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like who can be seen on the video in a bit. So this is the kind of thing that you can do with AR Maker, though. I like it. It's like it's your own little solar system with this kind of cool disco ball planet in the middle. I love the shadows. What did you do? You have an effect on the middle object, don't you?
Yeah, well, when you place them, you can actually, like, you can add effects. So that's how I got all of them to orbit, and the middle one is just vibrating.
Okay, so there's still a bit of movement. And I love the shadows on the floor. I think it looks amazing. It's cool that you can kind of walk around it. We have half an Earth. That's nice.
Yeah.
And we have a dog wandering right by the
And the dog again. Great. Oh, cool. Well, nice job on the augmented reality stuff. You're going to go down upstairs and join us for the reality composer piece?
Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks, Sonia.
Bye.
All right, so that's just some of the stuff you can do with AR Maker. I love this. I love that she's invented her own solar system, and they're all kind of swirling around. I think it looks great. I'd love to see some of your creations. So if you have anything that you've been working on, feel free to send it over live at thecodehub.ie. You can include dogs or not. And yeah, we'd love to see what you're working on. So today what we're planning on doing is working in Reality Composer. This is a great app from Apple. And it lets you build scenes in augmented reality really easily, just like AR Maker. But we're going to show you a couple extra wrinkles. Now, you might be thinking, my God, how do I find all of this stuff? I don't even know where to start. Because it can be a little bit daunting when you're just starting out as a developer. There can be so many things that you're looking at that it's overwhelming. Like we've looked at, just in a short space of time, we've looked at AR Maker. On the first day, we looked at Reality Composer. We looked at a Swift Playground with augmented reality. And Apple has some amazing resources. And it's especially timely because they're having their developers conference at the end of this month, or at the end of next month, end of June. And what you can do is if you go off to the App Store, so I'm going to tap on the App Store, and I'm going to go to search. So if I actually search for WWDC, because that's the acronym for the Worldwide Developers Conference, you'll find the very first result will be this Apple Developer app, which because you've been doing this course, you're well within your rights to download this thing. So it's free. So I'm going to just get it because I've already downloaded it on another device. But when we open up this app, we're going to find a ton of resources to help us figure out how to build stuff and how to use these different technologies that we see. So I'm going to go back to the home screen, scroll over, and then open up my developer app. I like to help out, especially these guys, so we'll automatically send data usage to the guys. And the very first thing we're going to see is some interesting articles they've written about maybe designing your application. In this case, it's designing notifications. We have articles about machine learning, Find My, the home framework that they've designing for privacy. Some interesting and pretty inspiring interviews with developers, like this one here. But the thing that I want to focus on today is there are actually a ton of videos on Reality Composer and Reality Kit. So if you go off to videos, down here at the bottom, you can favorite a few of them. There's a topics option you can select. See, it shows me which ones I've been watching already. And then some of the new ones. So here, there's a tech talk called Get to Know Reality Composer. We're going to go through that now, but Apple have done a really nice job at explaining just how to build a pretty easy and quick scene in Reality Composer. So if you watch mine here and you try it out with me and you're still not getting it a couple days later, you can go back and watch this video, and they do a really good job of explaining how to interact with objects in your augmented reality scene. And if you just tap on them, they'll show up here. It gives a bit of info about it. And it gives links to, the nice thing is while you get the video, you also get these links over here that will tell you more about Reality Composer, how to create 3D content with Reality Composer, Reality Kit documentation. That's the coding library that you would use if you're trying to build an augmented reality scene. And then this one, creating a game with Reality Composer, that we showed you very briefly in our introductory session into augmented reality. It was that Swift tabletop app. So with no coding on my part, obviously coding on somebody's part, but no coding on my part, I could build and run that application, install it on a device, and I could play a quick game of bowling with my finger on my desk. So this is well worth getting this app and just browsing around. When WWDC goes live, you'll get a lot of content in here. And all the sessions that are being broadcast from Cupertino, you'll be able to watch here in the app. So well worth checking out. So that's the developer app from Apple. So just search for WWDC in the App Store and you're good to go. All right, so now we played around with AR Maker. Like I mentioned, the way we recorded that earlier scene was if we do a space scene, we'll start our space scene. When we had this set up, we'll tap to create our scene. If I add my lunar lander and I place it, if I tap on this button here, it'll hide the objects, and then my video recorder comes on and I can take a picture. So I can see that lunar lander having landed on my phone. So that's kind of the final piece of the AR Maker puzzle. So once you've created your scene, if you tap that record button, we'll ask access to the microphone. Yep, and then we'd be able to walk around and see the shadows on our lunar lander and see it in 3D space. And then when I hit stop, that video has been saved to my photo library, just like we were doing with Lights Camera Code. So that's AR Maker. What we're going to work on today is we're going to try to build a little demo in Reality Composer, and we're going to do a couple of these. We'll do the first one today, working with the horizontal plane. So that'll be the tabletop. So here, let's bring it up. We're going to create a new project for this exercise today. So it opens it up. So I want to pick horizontal for tabletop. We'll do a vertical one and an image one later. We'll pick horizontal for now. That's going to be our anchor. So that's our flat surface here. This grid represents our flat surface. I can pinch to zoom. So just using two fingers, I pinch to zoom, and then with one finger I can rotate around the scene. So I don't want this. This is not the object I want in there. It's cool, but it's not what I want. So I'm going to tap on that, and it'll bring up the contextual menu, and I'm going to hit delete. So there we go. We got rid of We'll get rid of that select to edit as well. All right, so now I have a completely empty screen. I can, with one finger, I can move the plane around. And with two fingers, I can pinch in and pinch out. So now I'm going to add an object. So to add an object, I go up to this plus button. And I'm going to add an object. So I had a cube. What I'm going to do though is go down to activities. And you can see there's a ton of 3D content in here that we have available to us. We could do a ton of sports activities. I'm going to pick this rocket one. So when I tap on that, it's going to download the asset into my copy of ARKit, of Reality Composer rather. And you can see the little progress bar. So I can tap on that while it's downloading, and I can see the progress of it downloading there. I can name that, so let's give it a name. We'll call this rocket ship. Okay, cool. I've got the anchor all set up. Oop, gotta tap on it again. All right. What I'm going to do while I'm waiting for that to download is I'm also then going to add a behavior to this. So our ship is going to appear in the scene somewhere. But while we're waiting for it to download, what we can do is start setting some behaviors on it. So if we tap on this item here, it'll bring up the behaviors tab at the bottom. So right now we have no behaviors defined for this object. So this rocket ship. So I'm going to hit the plus button here. And I get a list of behaviors I can add. Now this list is scrollable. So if I tap and drag up, I can get other ones. So there's a proximity and jiggle. There's some pre-built ones. So if I get close to the object, it'll wiggle. Can wait and show. So it won't show the object, but it'll show it after 2 seconds. Start hidden. If I have a scene that I don't want to, it'll reveal things over time. Tap and add force. But I'm going to add a custom one here. So I'm going to tap on custom. And maybe I can't add it until it's downloaded. So here, let's give it a second. See if it's not downloaded yet. I can see from our little stream monitor that we're getting a lot of red, which is not great. Especially as we're dropping about all of our frames. This isn't super good for watching this at home. All right, we'll keep watching this download. There we go. All right, I hit custom anyway. So I can. Maybe it was my fat fingers for the first one. So I've added a new custom behavior. So now I have an option. I got to add a trigger and I can add an action sequence. So if I tap here, I have a few different things that are triggers. So I can have tap. So when I tap the object, it'll trigger this particular behavior. When the scene starts, so when I hit that play button, this action might be triggered. When it's close to the camera, it might be triggered. When something collides with something else. So let's say we're going to tap on our rocket ship to launch it. There's our rocket ship. It just downloaded. Now it says affected objects here is none. So we want to choose. And it says select the affected objects for the tap trigger. So we're just going to tap on our rocket ship and say done. And you can see that it changed to 1 there. And now we're going to add an action sequence to perform when we tap on the rocket ship. So I'm going to hit the plus button over here. And again, this is another scrollable list here for actions. So it's emphasize. We can show it. We can hide it. We can move, rotate, and scale to. We can scale by. We can add force. Make it orbit, a bit like we had with our solar system earlier. We can spin objects in place. We can transition to another scene that we've authored in here. We can play sounds. And the sounds should sound like they're coming from the particular location in your scene where they're anchored. You can have them look at the camera. This is especially useful for text objects. What we're going to do is we are going to pick move, rotate, and scale by. Okay, so we can see that our affected objects is still 1. Duration is 1 second. We have an ease type here, and it just shows you how the animation is going to be run. So ease in means it'll slowly ramp up and then slowly ramp down for the ease out part. We've got some values here. Position, you can see that this looks like, all right, well, it's going to move this way, and it's on the X axis. You can see we have X, Y, and then Z for our axes. X and Y is horizontal and vertical, and then Z is forward and back, closer to you and further away. We can change the rotation or the scale. We could make our rocket ship massive. I'm not going to do that. We're going to make it just scale of 1, so it's not going to change at all. That says 1%. That's not what we want. We'll go to percentage here of, we'll just type in 100 rather than trying to slowly drag that over. All right, so 100 will be our scale, so it'll be the same scale. So let's try placing this thing and then seeing what happens when we tap on it. So we'll turn on AR. So there we go. We're going to move the iPad to start as usual. All right, there's our ship. We can touch it and place it around. So I want it actually on the table. That's also a really large ship. I maybe don't want it that big. So let's try scaling it down. Because it's a toy rocket ship after all. It's almost the same size as the phone. So move the phone out of the way. So there's our ship. Now, if I tap on it, I'm just going to be able to interact with it and move it around my scene. If I hit the play button up here, we'll be able to see it in action. Okay, so now that's placed our rocket ship on the table. We can see the subtle shadows underneath. If I go and tap on my rocket ship now, okay, well that's not how rocket ships move. So let's go change our behavior and get it to move the way we want it to move. So let's hit the stop button. You can see my behaviors came back up. If they didn't come back up for you, you can tap on this button here and it'll bring the behaviors back up. If you have more than one behavior defined, there'll be a list of them here. So what are we going to do with a rocket ship when it launches? Well, it's not going to go to the side. It's going to go up. So let's hit clear to set all those to 0. And let's have it go up. Well, in the example, they do it 500 centimeters. Let's do that, 500 centimeters. And for those fellow Americans watching along, I'm very sorry. It's in meters, so foreign degrees. All right, so there we go. So we have a position. It's going to go up on the y-axis 5 meters. No rotation, no scale. Rocket ships, when they take off, tend to take off slowly and then speed up. So let's change that to ease in. So we can tap on these things down here. When we tap on ease in, we have ease in and ease out. We have a few different options to pick from. So I'm going to pick ease in. So it'll start slow and then speed up. We're also going to slow down this animation. So we'll make it last longer. Okay. All right. Let's try that stream again.